Welcome back. Nearly 20% of the dried spices tested by the Consumer Council contain substances that can cause cancer.
The watchdog warned that excessive consumption of one particular substance could put babies at risk. Annie Lau reports.
Dried spices have become essentials in the kitchen now that more people prefer cooking at home to dining out after being cooped up in their flats for months because of COVID-19. But they have been advised to be careful because some dry spices shown in the market contain cancer-causing substances. The Consumer Council tested 37 samples, including ginger, pepper, curry, garlic, and spice mixtures. 9 samples were found to have either aflatoxins, which are carcinogenic, or ochratoxin A, which has the potential to cause cancer. Some products contain both substances. A curry powder made by Yaolei fermented bean curd cane was found to have 20.1 micrograms of aflatoxins per kilogram. That exceeds Hong Kong's regulatory limit of 15 micrograms per kilogram and is double the European Union standard.
Exposure to aflatoxin play a role in liver cancers in humans, especially in persons with hepatitis B surface antigens and possibly for persons with hepatitis C viruses. Aflatoxin could affect the fetus through the placenta and impair infant development.
The Center for Food Safety has been asked to follow up on the tests. The consumer watchdog urged manufacturers to reduce aflatoxins content in their products and reminded customers to keep an eye on product labels. Annie Lau, HKIBC.
The Legislative Council Secretariat has reported Democratic Party lawmaker Ted Hui to police after accusing him of snatching votes from a ballot box. The election of the development panel chairman descended into chaos when Hui stormed to the podium and grabbed some ballots. Hui criticized Tony Tse, who was presiding, for imposing time restrictions and limiting the number of candidates. Pro-establishment lawmakers won the chairmanship and vice chairman posts of several panels. Lo Wai Kok became the development panel chairman, while the DAB's Elizabeth Quat will head a health panel after defeating medical constituency lawmaker Pia Chan.
Cathay Pacific's flight attendants union is disappointed that the airline remains tight-lipped on potential layoffs. Union chairwoman Suki Wong says she pressed the management again to disclose its restructuring plan in their 4th round of talks. No feedback was received over the union's proposals, including extending a voluntary unpaid leave arrangement. Wong hopes a voluntary departure scheme with better compensation terms will be rolled out if redundancies are inevitable.
Overseas again, more than 13 million voters in the United States have already cast their ballots, although the presidential election is still 19 days away.
Too many people have died and sacrificed for our right to preserve our democracy. And it's about we the people. It's not about anybody else, but we the people. And the people's voice needs to be heard. So I wanted my voice to be heard as one in tens of thousands of voters who have come out early to vote.
At some polling booths in the state of Georgia, people waited for as long as 9 hours. The early voters were skeptical of mail-in ballots, and some wanted to avoid any problems on the official polling day. Turning up in person ensured that their vote would be counted and helped decide the bitter contest between President Donald Trump and his Democratic challenger Joe Biden.
U.S. Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett is on track for Senate approval after ending her 3rd day of confirmation hearings. The conservative federal judge vowed to uphold her impartiality when she was grilled over an array of contentious issues.
There's room for different approaches to the Constitution, and I think those approaches shouldn't be broken down into partisan boxes because judges are not partisan. They do get appointed and confirmed by the political branches, but judges don't have, campaign platforms, and they no longer associate, as I've said a number of times, to the hearing. Judges stay out of politics. So their jurisprudential philosophies are not designed to yield particular results.
Republicans applauded the 48-year-old's legal arguments. Barrett was nominated by President Donald Trump to fill the seat of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who died last month. Democrats blasted Barrett for declining to specify how she will decide on possible cases, as she said it would be inappropriate to speculate. The Judiciary Committee is expected to vote on her nomination next Thursday, with a full Senate vote on October 26, 8 days before the presidential election.
China has warned of countermeasures to safeguard its national interests if the United States goes ahead and sanctions banks that do business with officials deemed responsible for eroding Hong Kong's autonomy. The banks could face restrictions on foreign exchange and other business matters. The United States has formally warned global financial institutions that they face tough sanctions if they conduct business with officials whom Washington holds accountable for undermining Hong Kong's autonomy. The U.S. State Department said it would identify within 60 days the financial institutions that had transactions with 10 people, including Chief Executive Carrie Lam, all of whom were sanctioned earlier. The report did not name any bank, but put the institutions on notice that it could be subject to restrictions on U.S. loans, foreign exchange, property transactions, and exports and transfers. Their executives could also be targeted. Washington might also ban U.S. entities from buying the stocks or bonds of the sanctioned firms. Passenger numbers indicate that China's aviation sector is reaching full recovery after the COVID-induced slump. An encouraging sign was that domestic flights in September were slightly higher than a year ago. The number of domestic passengers at 48 million was close to last September's levels, including international routes, which are still hit by COVID. China's domestic and global flights rebounded to 84% of the numbers in 2019. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index closed down 508 points. Top 10 active stocks: Tencent down $21.50, Alibaba down $12.80, Meituan down $13.40, and Xiaomi down 80 cents. BYD Company down 20 cents, CCB down 4 cents, Trakafund down 52 cents, Hong Kong Exchanges down $11, and Geely Automobile down 4 cents. Forex trading against Hong Kong dollar, euro is trading at 9.07, British pound at $10, Canadian dollar at 5.86, and Australian dollar at 5.47. Over to the UK market, the FTSE 100 is down 126 points. On to the weather now. It will be mainly fine and dry tomorrow. Temperatures will range between 24 and 30 degrees. Keep your brollies handy as there will be rain patches in the next couple of days. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Thursday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Sarah Wong.
And I'm Raymond Yang. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Good night.